All right, let's get started. This is new software that I'm recording this with. I can't pause it. I don't see any options for that, but that's okay. But just in case if I get interrupted, you understand why. The problem is the cat's gone crazy today. I don't know what his deal is, but I may have to yell at him, so hang with me. Let's go with this first one. I want to make this kind of short. It talks about order the numbers of scientific notation. And if you look at the symbols where the boxes they want us to put it in, these are less than symbols. So we know that this is going to be a least to greatest once we get them ordered, L to the G. And if you remember, when we're dealing with scientific notation and comparing them, the first thing that we want to look at is the exponent. And if the exponents are the same, the second thing we would look at would be the decimal or the first factor, coefficient, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so here's your exponent and here's the first factor. Okay, if you look at this one, I think we've seen it before. None of these exponents are the same, so we don't have to worry about that. And they look like they're already in the order of least to greatest. If you think about our number line and our negatives, we know -4 is smaller than -3, which is smaller than -2. So we could just go ahead and pop these in the boxes. They're kind of small, as they are, because they're already in order from least to greatest. Okay. Slide over to the one here in the middle. We're ordering numbers again. You see the less than signs. We're going from L to the G here. And we've got scientific notation, regular decimal, improper fraction, and a percent. So I think the best thing to do is go ahead and set up 4 decimals here so we can line them up and compare them as we go. Okay. 5.47 times 10. I told you, the cat. Get down. Jeez. Man, what a day he's had. Okay, 5.47 times 10 to the negative second power. Remember, this is negative. This is going to get smaller. I'm going to move my decimal back twice. Put a 0 there. So I'm looking at decimal 0.547. Okay, so that's my first number there. 54.7 is already in decimal form. I'm just going to place it right here. And then 54/7 is improper. We know we're going to have a whole number here. And this may look a little intimidating, but you don't have to take it to its breaking point. All you've got to do, remember, top dog in the house, set it up. 7 won't go into 5, goes into 54 for 7 times, which is 49. When I subtract, I've got 5 left over. I could say 7 and 5/7, but I'm looking to get a decimal here. I don't think I have to go very far to be able to compare it. I could probably do it with just the whole number, but let's take it 1 decimal place. 7 times 7 is 49. And we still got a remainder going on, but we'll leave it like that because I think 7.7 is plenty to measure that number by. So I'll just continue with that. I'll leave it alone. 54.7%. This is one where you want to write DP because we're going percent back to a decimal. 1, 2. So we got decimal 5, 4, 7. And be careful here because that looks like where the trick's going to try to happen on us. I'm going to put a 0 on the end of this. And I'm going to put 3 zeros on these real fast. And then I'm going to put zeros in the front over here. And I think that's enough information for us to see which one of these numbers is the smallest. Okay. We absolutely know since this 0 continues on in the 10th place, this is going to be our smallest number. Second, looks like our decimal down here, we have no whole number. And it's pretty easy to see that that's 7 with a little bit left over, and that's a 54 with some decimal with it. So there's no way I can write all these. Well, I can at least give an effort here. 0. That's a terrible 0. 0.0547. Second would be, well, that's my scientific notation. Why don't I just write it in scientific notation? Sorry. So 5.47 times 10 to the negative second power. Second was 54.7%. Third was my 7.7, which was that crazy improper fraction. And then my last one, which was the whole number of, and the decimal 54.7. Okay, I've beat that one to death. Let's roll on. Looks like pretty simple on this next one. All it's asking us is circle the largest. And again, first thing we're going to compare, exponents. If none of the exponents are the same, we're not worried about this number over here. It's irrelevant. Okay? So the largest exponent on a number line would be the one farthest to the right, which would absolutely be the 4th power. Okay? Let's go here. Good deal. Here we go. It says Wrangler had $300 to spend on school supplies. He spent 1/10 on notebooks. How much does he have left? Okay, let's pick out some information. How much money did he have? He had $300 to spend on school supplies. He spent 1/10, so they're wanting to know what, and this is a good statement to write, 1/10 of $300 is. We all know what the of word means. It means for us to multiply. So you can put your big dot right there. But then it says, how much does he have left? This is going to tell us how much he spent. Okay? So be careful because there's going to be a second step to this one. Let's first do that. Let's go 300 times 1/10, or I'm just going to change it to a decimal. I can put decimal 1 or decimal 10, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I know that that is going to be $30 using my handy dandy calculator. This is what he spent. In order for us to find out how much he has left, let's take his original amount and let's subtract, nice 0. Let's subtract $30 and find out. Most of you are sitting there in your head, you don't need that calculator. We know that he's got $270 left. Cool. Good to go. Solving graph. Looks like we've got a nasty little inequality. I kind of like to look at these things before I mess with them. Start figuring out what I've got going on. Variables on the wrong side. Possibly a flip because we got a graph. We got a negative in front of the variable. There's another little hint. Another flip. Probably a double flip looking nasty little inequality. And if you want to, go ahead and stick that 1 in right there. Okay? If you like to rewrite these with this stuff on the left, you remember you got to flip. And also, I think something we got to get in a better habit of is box in your termy things here. So now you know what goes with what. I'm going to leave it as is. Most of us solve this thing as it's written, and we do well with it. Okay? I'm going to leave it just like that. Get me a line going. Keep everything neat. All right. First thing we're going to do here, try to get m by itself. We're going to do inverse of -5 or -5, which is add 5. Okay, using that great calculator I have, I got -6. No need to flip yet, but don't forget that negative. And we'll just bring that 1 helps us to remember what to do at the end with that negative to get rid of it. Okay, and the next step here is we're dividing by -1 on both sides. And when we divide by a negative on an inequality, we know we got to put our big fat F right there. Causes us to go ahead before we forget. Flip that. This turns out to a +6. My 1's cancel each other, and I've got m. Okay. Now, If I got answer choices, I can look and see if they left the variable over there. But in this case, no answer choices. I got a graph, so I know there's no way I can leave that m on that side or that variable. So now it's time to fix everything, make it look nice and neat. Good deal. Now let's go up here and put that in our blank as variable of m is greater than or equal to 6. And let's graph this thing. We'll just include 3 numbers. That's all we need. Closed circle, shaded to the right. Awesome. Good deal. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this one says, which of the following are solutions for? Got a nice little inequality. And it's got some choices. So we got to be careful once we solve this. Let's go ahead and get this written. Make sure that we get it set up properly. All right, I'm subtracting 4 both sides. And those of you who like to just do it on one side, it's going to cost you. And remember, I fuss a little bit about bringing those inequality symbols with it every time. They've got to come with it. If not, it causes confusion. You forget where you're at. Make sure you bring it with it every time. Now we're going to divide by -3. Again, keep in mind, we just divided by negative on both sides. We need to flip. Okay? This is over here, it turns out to a +2. These 3's cancel each other. Well, they turn into 1, and 1 times n is just n. Okay, so now we've got n is greater than or equal to 2. And I'll be honest, since look up here at my choices, I got answer choices. There's no way I'm going to look at those things without throwing me a graph together real quick. Okay, so now I can start to say, all right, wait a minute here. If that's a closed circle on the 2, I know it's going to include the 2. And then since it's shaded to the right, I know I'm looking at numbers greater than or equal to 2, so that would include 3, 4, 5, and so on. So now let's go look at some choices, see what we got. All right, the first one is a 2. Yeah, buddy, includes that bad Johnson because look, it's colored in. Going up the number line, would it hit the 7 eventually? Oh, yeah. Would it hit the 4 eventually? Oh, yeah. How about the -1? No, that bad boy's down here. It's gone. +12, yeah, maybe over here on the other side of the computer somewhere, but yes, it's eventually going to hit it. And my -2, no way, it's to the left. There we go. All right, evaluate if A equals -8 and B equals -3. And I didn't prepare for this one too well. I haven't even got Desmos pulled up, but by gosh, give me a few minutes and we'll get that done. Excuse me. Let's write that down. Get our numbers in place of the letters here. Replacement values. -8 plus A is -8. So now I got -8 in a fraction over 4. Parentheses. -6 minus, now look, B's right here, but B's got a negative, so you got to be careful. -3, I'm just going to throw an extra set of parentheses in on that so I can keep my negatives and subtraction signs separated. And I'm going to leave that sucker just like that. And give me just a second, I got to pull Desmos up. Let me see. Alright. Desmos graphing. I don't need that bad boy. I need the testing one. Right there it is. Boom. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on the web page, either way, you got internet, so go ahead and grab your Desmos, get it pulled up so you can practice putting this in with me. I'm going to do it the original way with just my letters. Okay, I'm going to do A equals -8, hit enter. I'm going to go B equals -3, and I'm going to zoom this sucker out just a little bit. That way I can see everything. Hopefully that's not too small for you to see. Now I can plug this thing in just exactly like it is on my sheet. type slow. Remember to get out of your denominator before you start putting anything in over to the right in these parentheses. Bam, that looks like it right there. So it says -2, okay? Spot back over to the sheet. Oops, there. All right, let's go up here and write -2 real quick, okay? I'm going to go down here and mess with this thing. I know some of you are probably going to fast forward me right now, but that's okay. Go with me, it's not that bad. I'm going to do inside my parentheses first, even though I could take care of that division, but I'm going to take care of this. -6, if I'm subtracting negative, that's the same thing as plus. I know recent years I've had kids that would just do this. Change that thing into a plus sign. Now you got -6 plus 3, which is just a -3. And don't forget this multiplication right there, okay? Now I got -8. I'm going to take care of this, which is -2. And I'm just going to put my parentheses as, bam, that right there. Okay? Remember, we're using PEMDAS right here. So I'm definitely got to multiply that before I add. I'm going to go -8. Plus, this turns out to a +6. Oh, no, no way. We got the same exact answer. Bam. Like good? Okay, so those of you who fast forwarded through that, you missed something good, so it's pretty cool. Here's the last one, right? The power of 10 that equals 1 over, I don't know, what is that? 100,000. Good grief. Right when I see that fraction, I know right now that my power of 10 is got to be negative. Okay? Because it's written in fraction form. Good? All I got to do is count my zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. But do something for me. Come right here. We know this, man. We know the steps of this. Negative powers of 10. We know that this sucker is 1 over 10 to the 5th power. And we know we can just write that in expanded form. 1 over 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Is that 4 of them? Yep. 5. Good. And then the little example they gave us, they took the expanded form and just wrote it as a 1 with 5 zeros, which is, I think, 100,000. Okay? And then the last one that we're missing is nothing more than the decimal. Oops. And my decimal would be 0 point. And then the way I count it, some of you count zeros, but I count it as my 1's going to be in a 5th place to the right of the decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Bam, it's good to go. Okay, cool. There is, what was this? This is Coronavirus Daily Dose 1, Day 1.